Let's talk about the best possible microphone for you starting your podcast in 2025. This is Your Business Needs a Branded Podcast, a Podnose podcasting educational show teaching brands and entrepreneurs how to leverage podcasting. Okay, so welcome to this new episode of Your Business Needs a Branded Podcast. And yes, I know I've been quiet. I'm Neal Veglio. I'm here to help you create the perfect podcast that will connect your brand with your audience. And more recently, I've been focusing on my other podcast, The Podmaster, which is a general podcast helping all podcasters everywhere to get the best out of their efforts. But being that this is the time of the year that a lot of corporate brands are starting to sit down and think about their marketing goals for 2025, I thought what better time than to update an old episode with a new take. And of course, a new year, so for some, it's time to take the plunge into podcasting for the first time. If you're serious about starting, one of the first things that you'll need is a good microphone. And since it's been a few years since we last talked about this on this podcast, today we're diving into the best microphones for starting a podcast with up-to-date data as of 2025. We'll break it down by budget, under £100, £100 to £300, and over £300. Plus, we'll have a little special segment on why you might want to steer clear of the worst podcast microphone of all time. Let's get started. Now, before we get into the recommendations, let's talk about why your microphone choice is so important. Your audio quality is one of the first things listeners will notice. A good mic won't just make you sound more professional, it'll help you build trust and keep your audience engaged. And trust me, even if your content is amazing, poor audio will send listeners running for the hills, or at least towards a terrible podcast. Or at least towards a better sounding podcast. So let's talk about microphones under £100, as we lovingly refer to them in the industry, budget mics, starter mics, amateur mics. It doesn't matter, they all do a perfectly good job of getting the most fundamental task done, which is, namely, getting all the stuff that comes out of this mouth thing here into this microphone thing here. If you're starting out and have a tight budget, there are some solid options still for you to pick from. Here are my suggestions. The Technica ATR2100X USB, around about £80. This is a versatile mic that offers both USB and XLR connections, which means it's great for just plug and play into your laptop, but also, as you grow your team and maybe incorporate other presenters that you want to mic up, you can connect them up into a mixer using a XLR cable. It's future-proof. And the same with the Samson Q2U, which might be slightly more expensive, around the £85 mark. But it's another fantastic USB XLR combo mic that's durable, reliable, and delivers excellent sound quality for the price. Now, between that and the Technica, honestly, I've had both. In fact, I've got both. I've got spares of each model. But I tend to favour the Samson Q2U for others just because, in my experience, unless you've got really good mic technique, the Samson Q2U is a little bit easier to get a better quality sound from. There's another option that's come on the market. It's the Moano DM30. That's £60 roughly. And it's a newer option with surprising quality for its price. Great for solo podcasters that are working in quieter environments. And when I say that, what I mean is, compared to the other two microphones, it doesn't do quite such a good job of eliminating background noise. But still, for all three of these, they're perfect for getting started without breaking the bank. They're simple to use, plug and play, and offer a solid audio foundation to get your show kicked off. Now let's talk about microphones between £100 and £300. If you've got a bit more to spend, you're entering what I think is the sweet spot for podcasting microphones. Here's what I tend to recommend. First of all, the Shure MV7, it's around about £200 to £230, designed specifically for podcasters. It is a USB XLR hybrid mic, much like the other two that I mentioned before in the bargain section, but it delivers a much richer sound and includes onboard touch controls for easy adjustments. Then we've got the Rode Podmic, which is £100. It's a robust dynamic microphone, perfect for podcasting, but do keep in mind, unlike the Shure MV7 and the next one we're going to talk about, it does require an audio interface, something like the Focusrite Scarlett will do you, or any of the mixers from Rode. You've got the Rodecaster Duo, and you can probably pick up an old Rodecaster Pro now for probably around about £250, £300. Thirdly, I'd mention the Rode Podcaster. Again, a USB plug-in microphone around about £150, which has a great built-in pop filter as well. I happen to use the XLR version of this microphone, so if you like the way that my podcast voice sounds right now, you can bet your bottom dollar yours will sound very similar, if not identical. These options provide noticeably improved audio quality for you and more features for podcasters who'd like to invest in their sound. Hopefully, that's you, considering you are doing a branded podcast and you want to build an audience. All right, now, if you've got a slightly more generous CEO or CMO who's willing to let you dip a little bit deeper into the budget, let's talk about microphones over £300. These are the going all-in on audio quality options. Premium mics for podcasters who want studio-level sound. You want to be competitive, but more than that, you want to win the competition. So first of all, you got the Big Daddy Shure SM7B. This now retails around about £300 to £350. The gold standard for podcasting. Who doesn't know about this microphone now? It is a dynamic mic that's unmatched in its ability to capture warm, professional quality audio while still rejecting background sound. That is the beauty of a dynamic mic. Then we've got the Electro Voice RE20, around about £350. One of my biggest sadnesses of leaving the radio broadcast industry was leaving behind this mic. They've got these installed in most of the radio studios in the UK. It's known for its clarity and versatility, and it's excellent for all voice types. It comes to you rather than you having to go to it. And a third option, which is a relatively newer addition to my recommendations, however, I have used it, and it sounds incredibly rich. The Aston Stealth retails around about £300 to £350, a unique dynamic mic. It's got built-in preamps and voicing modes. It offers incredible sound for podcasters and voiceover artists. The gimmick about it is you can turn the lights off on it, which is what gives it the Stealth name. A bit of a gimmick though, and it won't make a difference to the sound of your podcast. Now, these mics all require some additional gear like audio interfaces and boom arms, but the audio quality is worth every penny if podcasting is going to be a serious venture for you in 2025. Alright, so let's get on to the Voldemort of the podcasting world then, the microphone that you need to avoid like the plague. Let's address that elephant in the room full on, grab its horns. The Blue Yeti. Now, this mic's been popular with podcasters for years, but I'm here to tell you why it's not the best choice for you as a podcaster in 2025. First of all, there's a huge scope for user error. The Blue Yeti's multiple pattern options, omnidirectional and stereo, are confusing for some beginners. Many people don't set it to the correct cardioid mode for solo podcasting. Also, most people that get hold of one of these things tend to talk into the top of its head rather than its face where they should be talking. When I say that, I mean where the knobs are, that's where you want to be talking, the center of the capsule. The reason for this is it's a side address microphone. So essentially, you're talking past it if you're talking into the end of it. Poor room acoustics as well, another factor of this. It's highly sensitive and picks up a lot of background noise, making it unsuitable for home setups without extensive soundproofing. And unless you've got a built-in studio in your offices, that means your space. And it's overpriced for the performance. At its price point of more than £120, there are much better options. We've mentioned them, the Shure MV7 or the Samson Q2U. Far more user-friendly, and they deliver a much better sound, in my opinion, and I've been doing this a while. So while the Blue Yeti might seem like an easy choice, you just type in microphone, it pops up on your screen, you click add to checkout and buy it, the truth is it's more trouble than it's worth for any podcaster, let alone those starting out. All of the podcast content I create, I want to give you some actionable advice that you can feel empowered to make the right decision for you. So here's how you can decide which mic is best for your podcast. Some key factors to consider. First of all, your budget. Start with what you're comfortable spending. You can get great audio at any price point, so don't overextend yourself. If you think this is something you're going to maybe stick out for a few episodes, just see how it goes, then definitely stay within the budget range. Once you have ultimately given up your podcast, if you decide it's not for you, you'll still have a great microphone which you can use for things like Teams, Zoom calls, and other things that require audio input. Maybe even YouTube if that's the direction you go in. Secondly, you want to consider the recording environment. If you're in a noisy space, consider dynamic mics like the Samson Q2U or the Shure SM7B, which handle that background noise much better. Consider your future growth. If you plan to upgrade your setup down the line, choose a mic with both USB and XLR options, like the ATR and, again, the Samson Q2U. There's nothing worse than deciding you want to get a group of people in the boardroom together around a Rodecaster Pro mixer, only to find it's not going to accept USB plug-in microphones. You got to consider the ease of use. If you're not tech savvy, go for a plug-and-play USB mic. And the aesthetic and build quality is also a factor. Some podcasters prefer mics that look professional on camera for video podcasting or live streams as well. Honestly, the Blue Yeti is an ugly microphone. I don't know why people buy it for that purpose, but that said, some people might think that the Samson SM7B is the only microphone that they want to consider for that look, just because it's already passed the video podcasting test. Most video podcasters use that microphone. That might mean then, if you are considering factoring in video podcasting in your strategy via YouTube, then the SM7B is a no-brainer. At the end of the day, the best microphone for you is the one that fits your specific needs and helps you create content you're proud of. Take your time, read reviews, and don't hesitate to reach out for more advice from me if you're unsure. So that wraps up my microphone recommendations for 2025. Whether you're on a tight budget or ready to invest in studio quality sound, there is a microphone out there that's perfect for you and your team. And remember, your podcast is an extension of your brand. Make it sound as great as you possibly can. If you have any questions or need more recommendations, feel free to reach out to me. Don't forget to follow this podcast and leave a review if you found this episode helpful. I'll be back with another episode of Your Business Needs a Branded Podcast soon. So keep an eye on your library. This is Your Business Needs a Branded Podcast, a Podnose podcasting educational show teaching brands and entrepreneurs how to leverage podcasting.